Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of another Bonanza webinar. Tonight's topic is going to be Google Attributes. We are going to tame the Google Attributes beast. I am Phaedra Stockstill. I'm your Bonanza Seller Advocate, and I'm very excited to have as our presenter this evening Miss Judy Oglesby, a member of the Bonanza support team. So without further ado, let's bring Judy on and have her get started helping you tame the Google Attributes beast.
Well, thank you, Phaedra, very, very much. It is a pleasure to be here tonight. I've looked forward to this, and I hope that we can unravel the mystery behind all of the Google attributes. Now, we're looking at my booth homepage. You go to a booth homepage and you have all the listings, you've got the title and the pictures, the description, you've got it all. You have everything under control. And then you hear these words called item traits. And then you hear Google attributes. And you think, what in the world? I have more work to do. So we're going to get behind what is behind all of the title lines and the description and your item traits and try to tame this for you all tonight. We're looking at my booth homepage, and all of these listings on my front page are searchable in two different ways. They're site searchable and they're organic searchable. And if you put them into Google product, which Bonanza does for us, they become Google product searchable, and that is a good thing. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is your advanced setting options, because it's becoming increasingly important that we keep all of our settings, our booth overview, our shipping policies, return policies, and even our ships within defined for Google. They like that. So I want to bring to your attention that you go to your Sale and Edit Advanced Settings. Here is how you access it, and you click your Advanced Settings. And this Shifts Within box, it will hold a great deal of text. And once you complete it and save all your options, it will appear on a listing page displayed for your buyers so that they can see when you ship within and the terms. You can put a great deal of text. So this all shows up to your buyers, and you need to keep your ships within displayed for your buyers. In conjunction, fill out your booth details page where you define your booth overview, your shipping policies, not only your shipping policies, but when payment is expected, your return policies. All of these items are extremely important for Google product, for organic, and for your site search. So be sure that you complete all of these items. Now, the next thing we want to look at, I've already taken the liberty of started a listing so that we can see what it looks like whenever you are completing your listing. Now, I've already selected the category, so I have brand, size, product type, condition, gender, and sport. At Bonanza, these are called item specifics or item traits. Every site calls them something different. One of our competitors calls them item specific. Some of the other sites refer to them as product details. Regardless of what the site refers to them to, they're actually characteristic of the product. And completing them for the site makes the item site searchable. However, if you complete these, they also will map to the Google attributes, so you do not have to worry with adding these manually. So we're going to select, this is actually a majestic. The size on this particular is a large. The product type is a jersey. Its condition is new with tags. The gender is a boys. And the sport is baseball. Now, I have completed all of these item traits. These item traits will make this item searchable inside the Bonanza search whenever somebody uses the refine search. However, the cool thing is that Bonanza has made all of these where they will map to the appropriate Google attribute for you. Now, if you look on your listing page, all of your item traits are displayed in your item detail page. I have local pickup available. There's the reviews, how many I have in stock. Here's the brand, Majestic, the condition, Nuva tags, the sport, which is baseball and softball, size, category men's, and the jerseys. So everything that I completed in the item traits will show up right below the image and right above the description for the buyer as they come into the listing page. And you'll also notice that the shipping options displayed to the immediate right of your image shows when I will ship it. It's free shipping in the U.S. in 1 day upon receipt of cleared payment. So everything that my buyers need is displayed. And you have your description. Now, if you will go in the batch edit in your item trait section, the item traits that have been applied when you were listing your product will show up. I have the product type, which is shirts and top. The brand is a Nike. The condition is new with tags. The sport was tennis. The sport was golf. The sport was gym, workout, and yoga. All of the different sports that this particular shirt was applicable to has been selected, and it will show. You can click on the edited traits for all of the filters items, and it will access a page so that you can go through and fill these out easily if you've missed it without going back to the actual listing page. In your batch edit, they also have a handy tool called the Search Optimize. Your Search Optimize is going to show you your Google attributes. Now, attributes is nothing more than the name that Google has chosen to assign product characteristic. It's the same thing as Bonanza is calling the item traits. However, Google wants to know a great deal more about your particular product so they can put it into the right place and serve it up for the shoppers in Google product shopping. So you will notice that we'll use the first one, for example, my wholesale lot of Hazel Madison computer brief. The payment notes, it tells me I accept Google checkout. I don't have to add that. Bonanza did it for me because I have Google checkout enabled as a payment option. You'll also notice that the Google product category, which is now required by Google, that Bonanza has populated that attribute for me based on the site category. So for the sellers that use custom booth categories, always select a Bonanza site category so that Bonanza knows which Google product category to choose for you. They will map it for you. Then you'll also notice that we have the availability, which is in stock. That is also another required attribute. Because that it's online and it's for sale, Bonanza will take care of mapping the availability and adding the value of in stock for you. You'll also notice that this particular listing has the brand, Hazel, the MPN, which is the manufacturer part number, and there is the color and the condition. Now the color I added on this particular listing manually because that is not something that is available. If you are wanting to add the color, and I have left this blank on purpose, you can add a search attribute, and I'm going to use pink. You select the listing, hit apply change.
I would like to back up a second. You talked about what attributes, or you mentioned that, and stated it's characteristics of an item. And you're giving those characteristics to Google so that they can serve you up in search. And I was thinking about that, and how can we take that and turn it into something that everyone can internalize and that is real simple to understand. And I was thinking, you know, everyone shops. Everyone shops. So everyone listening, think about this. What's your favorite brand name of shirt? What's your favorite color of shirt? Do you like long sleeves or short sleeves? Think about those things. So when you actually go to search and you're looking for your favorite shirt, then you might type in blue Aeropostale t-shirt. Those are attributes. And in order for the correct items to return for those attributes you've added to your keyword, you know, which is t-shirt, the sellers had to put those attributes in. So I think that's a really simple way to understand exactly what an attribute is and what it can do for you based on buyer behavior. What do you think, Judy?
I think that sums up perfect. It is exactly. In Google product, it's not the title lines that is used to serve up the search query. Whatever a search query is, when you use the search bar and you type in that I'm looking for a Hazel folding tote. Well, Google immediately starts looking for the brand Hazel, and it starts looking for other attributes which are the characteristics to serve up for you whenever you are searching. So it's the title lines are not that so important in Google. It's the attributes that is assigned, which in essence is going to be our item traits. Now, there are a lot of item traits that may not be available in particular categories. For instance, in this particular category, in the everything else, none of the colors are available. So if I want to include that, because somebody may be looking for a tan or a beige Hazel tote, and if I don't have that attribute included in that listing, then my listing will probably not be served up if somebody types in that they're looking for a Hazel beige tote. So it's important that I include, let me spell it right for you, because the Hazel beige was not included, and now I have included the color beige, and whenever I update my booth, that will be added to the XML file that's sent to Google. Bonanza takes care of generating the file for you, so you don't have to do that. All we have to do is make sure that we have good title lines, good descriptions, take great pictures, complete all of our item traits. Then if some of the attributes that are needed to help better define are not available as an item trait, it is the Search Optimize section of your handy-dandy batch editor. Thank you, Bonanza, for this great tool, so that we can come and apply or even remove attributes so that our products will show up inside of the Google search and will begin to be able to be in price comparison. Without these attributes, we will never have a chance to show up in price comparison. But with these attributes, we can show up right beside Amazon, Best Buy, Buy.com, Walmart, all of the other big boys, because we've added in these attributes, or actually item traits. I also added in, for instance, this particular listing, which has a wholesale orange junior journal. The material, vinyl, is not available as an item trait in that particular category. So today, after I listed this product, I came to the Search Optimize and I added that the material is vinyl. So if someone is looking for vinyl journal, junior journals, then my listing will more possibly show up in a Google product search. You can get a really quick overview of the things that you may need to consider adding when you look at just the item trait window. I can see that I have added as an item trait the brand Hazel, and I misspelled it, and that the MPN. So I can take this listing and I can correct this brand that I have accidentally misspelled, because nobody's going to be looking for Haxel. They're going to be looking for Hazel. I can also see that my item trait was new without tags, that this one was condition new, brand Hazel. Here's the MPN. But see, notice this particular listing, the MPN is not included. I didn't add it. And so it quickly tells me at a quick glance what I need to do in order to help this listing serve up better. And since we know that brand and UPC and MPN are actually required UPIs, which are unique product identifiers, that I need to go back to this listing and take the time to include the MPN. And since the MPN is not available as an item trait, then I can go to Search Optimize. And since I hadn't included that MPN, I can add that MPN in the Add Search Attributes. You'll also notice that in every single one of these listings, Bonanza has added for us the other required attributes so that we don't have to worry with it. The age group has been added, and the gender. Those are two attributes that Google product really wants to, or actually has required it to come into the Google product. And so Bonanza is mapping those things for us. And Phaedra, I think that we're just about ready to start seeing at this point if we have any questions.
All right, Miss Judy, I have to tell you, we have some fantastic questions from the audience this evening, and I'm so glad you agreed with my simplistic explanation of what an attribute was. Before I get to the audience question, I have a question for you. Can you have too many attributes? Let's say I have an item and I want to put 50 attributes on it. Is that a good thing?
No, not necessarily. I've seen lots of listings that had way too many attributes. Google has a limit on several of the attributes. Color, size, feature, those are attributes that have limits. And so it's not a good idea to go over the top. Most of those have limits of 10. So you don't want to have more than 10 sizes, 10 colors, 10 features. If you go to 11, the listing gets kicked out. Now, it won't kick your whole feed, but that one listing will not publish.
Fantastic. Now, let's go ahead and start with the audience questions now. First of all, I want to thank everyone for attending tonight's webinar on Google Attributes. Miss Judy Oglesby has been your presenter. You can find her on Bonanza as Blue Penny Lady. She is also a member of the Bonanza support team. And I'm Phaedra Stockstill. I'm your Bonanza seller advocate. You can find me on Bonanza as Bonanza Phaedra. All right, now let's get to those questions. First, from Ms. Shar Becker. Why can't we have more than one color? I tried yesterday to add more colors and it would not let me. I believe that's probably a support question.
Yes, that's a support question.
Unfortunately, we don't have access to the back side and to the technical portions to go check and see what you were experiencing, Shar, but we'd love to help you. Send in an email to support@bonanza.com. Let's find out exactly what was going on so we can get that taken care of for you. Now, for Ms. Gladys Ramos, who is Antiques Are Great on Bonanza, what if an item doesn't have a brand?
What if an item doesn't have a brand? Some of the brands are not defined and you use the other and it is being accepted.
Okay, and how is, if I use other as my brand, how is that going to affect the way I would show up in search results?
Only Google can define that. The brands are limited on all of the sites universally, and so not all the brands are included in all of the lists. I would strongly suggest that even though that Google is filtering by the attributes, if you have the actual brand, be sure you include it in the description and your title line. Remember, those are not used primarily for the search filter, but they are used in some instances, but the attributes are used more strongly. And where it's going to impact you and where it's going to put you at, only Google can tell us that. I don't have a solid answer for that.
That's completely understandable. We believe that you're supposed to know all the secrets of Google, that they tell you all their secrets, but unfortunately that's not the case. I'd like to step back for a moment and reiterate, your title lines and your descriptions are great for organic search situations. Yes. What we're talking about tonight are Google attributes, which really will help you in Google product shopping. So let's not get the two confused in our conversations this evening, okay? The next question, again, Ms. Gladys Ramos. She said earlier she had her questions ready, and man, she meant it. All right, Judy, take a deep breath because here it comes. Since Google is doing away with the year and manufacturer attributes, do we need to delete them? Will they cause an error if we don't?
No, you do not have to delete them. They actually dealt with that on one of the releases, and some of the technicians have addressed that. You don't have to do anything with them right now. Just moving forward, you do not include the retired attributes. They're just retiring them. They won't be used in the search filtering anymore. Will they throw errors later on down the road? I have no idea. I cannot tell you that. But moving forward, as you list new listings, I would refrain from manually adding retired attributes.
Okay, so that was the manufacturer and year. If they're already on your listings, at this point we don't know yet if that's going to cause an error, but you may want to cease and desist adding them manually to your listings.
Yes.
The next question is from Miss Marlene, and I'm sorry, Marlene, but your last name isn't coming all the way through for me, so I'm unable to read it. And she asks, my preference is not to use other as a brand, and we just mentioned this a little while ago. For example, when a drop-down box is available, rather I leave it blank and enter it manually as an attribute. Can you comment on that, Miss Judy?
On entering the brand manually?
If it's not available in the drop-down box, she's leaving that blank, leaving the drop-down box blank, and going in and entering it as an attribute herself.
If you do not complete the item trait for Bonanza, if you don't fill it out, if somebody goes to the site search and uses their Refine search and clicks brand and selects other, your listing will not show up in the Bonanza site search. But you can add the actual brand manually in your search optimize.
Okay. Then we have Denise Cooper, who says, is there a secret to getting to the front page on a Google search?
If you figure that one out, let me know too.
Denise, I can tell you, if you're talking about organic Google search, time and hard work. Lots and lots and lots of SEO efforts. Optimize your title lines and optimize your descriptions. Use the keyword tool and really highly optimize those. And understand that there's no such thing as one and done. In e-commerce, keywords change over time as buyer behavior changes over time. Mm-hmm.
If you are going to be, and if you're talking about organic, it is lots of SEO.
Yes.
If you're talking about Google product, they like attributes.
Mm-hmm. I think that's it. There's also a tool that will help you check on your competition to find out who is coming up first in Google product search and see how they're listing, what attributes they're using, what product types they're using, things like that. So you can actually go and spy on your competition within Google product search. If you will Google Tom the Developer, yep, you will find that tool and you can snoop on your competition. Okay. Marlene says, if I select other and then manually add the actual brand as an attribute, wouldn't that mean I have two values for brand, which is a no-no?
I will have to look at if they've changed that. That is a support question now, and we will have to check on that. Why don't you email that question into support and let me check on that for sure.
Okay, fantastic. The email is support@bonanza.com. Now, we are graced with the presence of an amazing lady this evening, Miss Cindy Shebley, who is a published author and the owner of websellercircle.com, is with us this evening, and she asks, if you import items from eBay that have attributes set up in eBay, will Bonanza import those also, or will she need to go back and edit them after the eBay item import?
You have to go back and edit. They do not all import.
Okay, so the importer, when you're on a site and you're importing from other sites, it's kind of like, you know, I'm in the United States and I'm trying to speak to someone in China. I speak English and they speak Chinese. And there's usually somewhere going to be a disconnect in that conversation with that importer. The importer does its best, but the different sites speak different languages for the most part, so it's difficult for everything to come over perfectly. So the short answer is, unfortunately, the importer cannot bring the attributes from eBay for you, but you can use your batch edit and actually get those in pretty quickly. And you may want to consider a CSV file, which I'm finding much, much easier. Now, Gladys Ramos says she's going off topic, but she's got a question. Can you explain punctuations? What is and what isn't acceptable? She knows the ampersand thingy and the dash will cause issues, but will using proper written English cause issues? Gladys, I'm going to preempt Judy here and tell you, forget everything you learned in English class. Your title is about speaking to natural search. That's what it's there for. That's your main target. So personally, I was an English major, so take it from someone. I know it hurts, but it's more important that I get my keywords in there and get some of the good attributes in there also. That's more important to me than any punctuation in a title. And now, Judy, I'll let you talk about what a search no-no punctuation in the title is.
It is just better to refrain using punctuation unless absolutely necessary. We have had so many issues with the way that punctuation affects the search engine. And it isn't just Bonanza. It happens everywhere, on all sites, and even in the organic, and it will even mess up the Google product. Slashes, dashes, apostrophes, exclamation points, the ampersand sign, the percent sign, they can all devastate a search. They can devastate your title line and make it completely unsearchable.
Exactly. I truly have come to the conclusion that search engines have a problem just reading punctuation. It is best to leave it out of your title. Work your keyword tool and build that title to be highly search optimized. Let's see. Now, Miss Ann Fabrero, and please, if I mispronounce your last name, I apologize profusely. She asked, in Search Optimize, I am seeing only Google Checkout as a payment choice, even though I have other options. Do I need to add the others?
No, you do not. No.
Okay.
The Google Checkout, if it is enabled, it appears in your attributes. In the Search Optimize, it's placed there by Bonanza, and that's per how Google wants it. Once they get to the landing page, the other online payment services show up and everything's fine. You do not need to do anything.
Excellent, excellent answer. Miss Angelica Rose asks, I noticed when you added an attribute, you formatted it in brackets and with a colon. Where can we find the formatting requirements for different attributes, or are all the ones that you put in manually from Bonanza formatted exactly that same way? Bracket, bracket, attribute, colon, value, bracket, bracket.
Yes, good question, Alex. Angelica. Yes, they're all formatted just like that. Double bracket, your attribute, colon, and then attribute value. Absolutely.
Then Miss Marlene Soper again asked, I just noticed payment notes. Is that new? Is that added automatically based on the payment types you accept, or do you have to enter that manually?
You do not add the payment notes yourself. Bonanza generates that for you, and it's for Google Checkout only. If you do not accept Google Checkout, you will not have payment notes.
Okay. Do you have a list of retired Google attributes from Miss Jan M. Bradshaw?
Yes, I can provide you with one. Absolutely. If you will email me, I'll be happy to send that. You don't even have to email me in support. You can email me at my booth, Blue Penny Lady, and I can send you that list.
Fantastic. Do booth items that are similar get submitted, and are they considered duplicates, like the green and beige folding totes? Would they get bumped from Google?
They are getting ready to add variants, and when we have variations, then we'll be able to put identical product except for color into the same listings.
Fantastic.
But as far as are they going to get bumped, not at this time.
Okay. Also, I want to bring up here, because I've seen this conversation in many, many places, duplicate content concerns Google product shopping. Duplicate content, we don't have that conversation when we're talking about organic search. Just wanted to denote that difference, okay? Denise Cooper has asked a very good question, and she's actually asked several good questions this evening, but a lot of them were very relevant to her particular business, so I have offered her a private consult with me. Denise, on the last question that you've just put up, please again email me, Phaedra@bonanza.com, and let's get your one-on-one consult scheduled, and that way we can go to your booth and talk about just your items and what you need on Bonanza and be very specific and personal for you. Shar is asking, Judy, why don't you just pop up there and add another color to one of your items that already has a color?
I can do that. I can already tell you that the first one disappears and the new one is what displays.
So, but are they both still on the listing, or did that second one actually replace it?
I knew everybody was going to ask about this.
Yeah. Ah, there you go. So, Ms. Scharbecker, that's how you scroll that back up there, Judy, and let us see that.
See, right there.
Okay. So you would put color, put the first color, and then, okay, I see it now.
It's called a vertical pipeline,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how you can add more than one color.
Fantastic. Now, it seems like Marlene, I think it's Soper, has another technical issue. We're going to have to ask her to email support@bonanza.com, but I'm going to go ahead and verbally express what she's experiencing. I was just looking at one of my items. If I look at the page to edit the listing, all of the traits are completed. However, if I go to the Edit Item Traits page, each trait says select an option. This is true for a whole bunch of items I added a couple of weeks ago.
Please email support@bonanza.com about that issue.
And I would make sure that you've updated your booth recently too, to make sure, click that update booth button to make sure that they have stuck. Okay, I'm scrolling back through, but I think we have answered all of the questions that were in our question queue. If I didn't get to yours, please type it in again so that it'll pop up for me and I can get to that for you. Judy, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time this evening to come and help us tame that Google Attributes beast. I want to express to everyone that this evening the whole goal that Judy and I had was to make attributes not quite so scary anymore and reduce the need for, these major 10-page conversations Now you know that you really want to stick with the basics. These are the attributes that are really, really working. Try to use those drop-down boxes wherever possible. And the biggest thing, I think, is understanding exactly what they are and how they speak to Google product shopping. And that's where they're going to affect your placement. Also, trying to give you a very simple explanation of them.
If you're not sure about what you need to add, you don't have to do anything immediately. You don't want to over attributize so that it kills it and the listing doesn't even show up.
Exactly.
If you stick with your brand, your color, your size, and the MPN or the UPC, you're going to be doing really what you need to do. And if the color is not available, then run over to the batch edit, to the search optimize, and add the color. And you can add the MPN.
Exactly.
Or the UPC.
Ms. Jan Bradshaw has asked a great question. I want to, before I get to the question, say that if you go to your My Bonanza page and click on Google, it takes you basically to your Google feed page where you can initiate a review, which will then show you if there are any issues with any of your listings. And Judy is showing us on her screen. If there's an issue with any of your listings, once the review is complete, it will show you which listings have an issue and where the issue is, like it might say description. Also on this page, if you see the number that Judy is showing here in green, your Google account ID number, if you click on that number, then you will actually see all of your items in Google Product Shopping. Now, this does not show your placement in Google Product Shopping, but this shows you how they're being shown in Google Product Shopping. Okay? Now, Jan's actual question was, is there a URL query where you can actually see your Bonanza Google Product Search feed or items? So we answered the items portion. And Judy, is there a place or a way for her to actually see her feed?
Yes, you can see your file. Bonanza will send it to you. In this lower section of the page, if you click this link, it says click here to have us email you a link to your current feed. They will send you the link to your file.
Fantastic.
And while we're on this page and we're talking about this review, when you make changes to your feed, it takes a little while for those changes to apply. So let's say that you have initiated a feed status review and they found that you have too many brand or too many size or too many color, or you've added description 2 times or whatever you've done, and you've gone in and you correct it. And then you immediately go back and you click initiate another feed status review, and it comes back with exactly the same errors, and you go to your batch edit, you're going, I don't get it. I think I just took that stuff out. I don't see anything. That's because that the new file that's corrected hasn't been set to Google yet. Google's looking at the old file. So you want to go to Cell and click the Update Booth button. That Update Booth button is so important. Every time you make data changes, you should always go to Cell and click Update Booth. That will generate a new file that has all the data changes and submit it to Google, and then in about 24 to 72 hours those changes will be posted. Then you can initiate a new feed status review and see what else you need to do, if anything.
Excellent. Now, I want to go back to what Judy showed us earlier. When you're on your edit item listing page and you choose the category, Bonanza is going to provide drop-down boxes for the required attributes. Things like, brand, UPC, MPN, you have to have 2 of those 3, and size, color, condition are there. So all you have to do is choose from those drop-down boxes, and those attributes are created for you. At the point in time you go over to batch edit to add something would be like Judy did earlier. There were 2 colors in her item. So she wanted to change from color just tan to color tan and white. Personally, if I'm not sure, I stick with what Bonanza offers me in the drop-down boxes and leave the rest alone because I'd prefer not to get my item kicked out of GPS. Gladys Ramos asks, what if the UPC that you have on the item is no longer a valid UPC?
You can use the MPN because the manufacturer part number is also valid in conjunction with the brand. If you do not have a valid UPC, then you can also go to your UPC database and see if there's a new UPC. I found a bunch of them on there.
Okay. Fantastic. What if an item doesn't have a brand?
Then you use other.
Okay.
And while we're on the item traits, if you do not complete the condition item trait, Bonanza will assign used by default. Used is a default condition on Bonanza.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. And so we really want to be careful because I've seen some items that really shouldn't be sold used. So make sure that you choose your condition. Don't let Bonanza choose it for you because they're going to make sure that it is used. Louis the seller asked, if I have 2 of the same exact items and I sell one as new on one site and the other is used on Bonanza, is this a Google duplicate violation?
Louis, you know, I think only Google is going to be answer that, but I wouldn't take a chance.
Yeah. I'm going to stop right there and I'm going to state that the Google product duplicate content statement is pretty concise and easy to understand. As a seller, it's up to you to decide how you want to adhere or not adhere to that particular requirement from Google product shopping. If you choose to list and feed duplicate content, then you must be aware of the consequences, and then that's a choice that you make to deal with those consequences. If you choose not to produce duplicate and feed duplicate content to Google product shopping, then you have nothing to worry about. Trying to come up with different ways to move under the radar of that particular rule of Google product shopping is up to you as the seller. And it is also up to you as the seller to understand the consequences that you may or may not face in that situation. Okay, I'm not seeing any new questions popping up. So I'm going to state that I think we're just about done here this evening. I want to thank all of you for showing up this evening, giving us an hour of your time in the evening. I really, truly hope that we've helped you solve the mystery around Google attributes. Don't bang your head up against the wall. Keep it simple, and you'll do fine. Judy, thank you so much for all the valuable, valuable information this evening.
Thank you for having me. I love doing this stuff.
Have a fantastic evening, everyone.